Come onto your hands and knees for cat-cow. Spread your hands and fingers, have your hands shoulder distance apart and lengthen through your arms. Be in a neutral long spine here. Steady your breath and then start to tuck your pelvis under, round your back, bring your chin towards your chest, pull your waist up to the ceiling. Exhaling here. And then as you inhale, let the belly drop, lift your buttocks, shoulders back, lift your chest and look up. And then exhale into cat, tucking the buttocks down, chin to chest. And then inhale into cow, letting the belly drop down, buttocks lifting and spreading, chest opening, lift your collarbones, look up. And exhale back into cat. And keep going at your own pace, moving with your breath. And enjoy the journey into cat and the journey into cow, and enjoy the full expression of each pose. Be in your whole body as you go back and forth here, moving and breathing in a rhythm that feels right to you. See if you can feel yourself passing through neutral as you move from one to the other. And move your entire spine. So feel your pelvis and lower spine. Feel the lumbar, the thoracic, and the cervical spine all joining in for this experience. Steady breathing, steady movements, smooth and steady. And then come back to a neutral spine here. And take a breath in neutral. Now grab your blocks for a simple lunge and stand at the front of your mat with your feet together, thighs rolling in, thighs back, long spine, open chest. And bring your hands down onto the blocks and step your left foot back into a lunge. Bring your right knee directly over your right heel, so the knee should not be too much forward of the right heel. You might need to scoochie your left toes further back. Now lift the left thigh and pull the outer right thigh back into your hip. Squeeze your outer hips together slightly, and then elongate your spine, especially the front surface of the spine. Let your belly be buoyant. Let your hips be buoyant. Keep your back thigh lifting. Be strong in your legs and fluid in your long spine here. And then step your back foot forward and step your right foot back into a lunge so that your left knee is directly over your left heel. And let your hips sink down, but only until your hips are about at the height of your front knee. Lift your back thigh, especially the inner back thigh. Stretch back through the back heel and stretch forward through your spine. Pull the outer left thigh back into the hip. Lengthen the abdomen. Be long in your arms. Be buoyant in your belly. Connect your outer body to the midline here. And then step your back foot forward. Bring your hands to your outer hips, lift your shoulders, and stand on up. Now have blocks and a blanket ready for a simple lunge with the knee down in the back. So set up your blanket, which will be the padding for your knee, and stand between your blocks in Tadasana. And then place your hands down onto the blocks and step your left foot back. Reach your left foot even further back. Long in your spine here, and first lift the back thigh up. Pull your outer right hip back towards the hip socket and gather your outer hips towards each other slightly. And then lower your back knee down to the blanket and untuck your back toes. Hands are still on blocks, long extended arms. Kick your back shin down into the ground and let that action reverberate with a lengthening of the front surface of the spine upwards. Let your sacrum move forward towards the front heel and elongate the sides of your body, elongate the right and left sides of the spine. Bend deeply in the front knee and enjoy the stretch at the front of the left hip. Let your shoulders move back slightly so that your chest is open, and lift the low belly up off the pelvis. Breathe here as you deepen the pose, coming deeper into the lunge. And then tuck your back toes, lift your back thigh, and step your back foot forward, and step your front foot back. Now the right leg is back. Lift your back thigh, energize your legs. Pull the outer left thigh back towards the hip socket and gather your outer hips in. Lift the belly and lengthen the spine. Reach your right foot further back and then lower the back knee down onto the blanket and untuck your back toes. Have a sense of kicking your back shin down into the ground. Let your pelvis come forward as you bend the front knee deeply. And again, pull the outer left thigh back towards the hip socket. Gather your outer hips together and lift the low belly and lengthen the front surface of the spine from the lower spine, through the lumbar, through the thoracic, all the way up through the cervicals. Breathe here as you deepen the pose. Deep lunge to stretch the front of the right hip, to stretch the groins. Imprint a long spine here. Imprint steady, smooth breathing here. Inhaling and exhaling. And now tuck your back toes under, lift your back thigh, step your back foot forward, soften your knees, bring your hands to your outer hips, lift the shoulders, and come up with an open chest. Long extended legs and body here. Stand at the front of your mat between your blocks for a lunge twist. Fold forward over your legs, lower your hands onto the blocks and step your left foot back into a lunge. Right knee over right heel, lift your back thigh. Draw your femurs deep into the hip sockets. Gather your outer right hip in towards the midline. Lift the belly and lengthen the spine away from the reach of the back leg, which is reaching back. And now bring your right hand onto your belly and pull your belly up to the right to help you rotate and twist. And then reach your right arm up and reach the whole right shoulder up towards the ceiling. Turn the right ribs up towards the ceiling. Turn the left ribs underneath you. Squeeze the right thigh in towards the midline. Continue to lift the back thigh and even lift the back hip. And breathe here in a lunge twist, lengthening and extending. And then lower your right hand down, lengthen the spine forward and look forward. And then step the back foot forward. And now step your right foot back into a lunge. Left knee directly over the left heel. Keep the right thigh lifting, femurs into the sockets. Outer left hip gathering to the midline. Lengthen your spine here, stretch your back leg. And now bring your left hand onto your belly and start to turn and twist your belly up towards the ceiling. And then follow with your rib cage and your spine and even your head, turning, rotating to look up. Lift your left arm up, lift the left shoulder up, open the left ribs. Keep the right thigh lifting. Be buoyant under your right hip. Hug your left thigh towards the midline. Twist a little bit more. Extend the back leg. Extend through the arms. Be open and wide across the chest. And then lower your left arm down, coming back into a simple lunge. And step your right foot forward now. Hands to the outer hips. Lift the shoulders, elbows back, and then stand all the way up. You'll be on your back now for a windshield wiper. Knees bent and feet flat, and walk your feet out wider so that your feet are on the very outer edges of your mat. Stretch your arms out to the sides at shoulder height. And then lower your knees down to the right. The feet will stay glued right where they are. Just the knees lower down and down and down to the right. And enjoy this gentle twist. The right thigh is externally rotated and the left femur is internally rotated slightly. Resting here and breathing. And feel the way the femurs are doing different things in the hip sockets. And then inhale and lift your knees right up to center, and keeping your feet glued down, lower your knees over to the left side. And feel how your femurs relate to the hip sockets differently from each other. Now the left thigh is externally rotating in the socket, and the right femur is internally rotating in the socket. Relax and breathe length into your trunk. Keeping the feet glued down, inhale your knees up to the center and then all the way over to the right side. And then breathe as you take your knees up to center and exhale your knees down to the left side. And then inhale your knees up to the right and then up and to the left. And knees up and knees fall to the right. And knees up and knees fall to the left. So the feet aren't really moving at all. They're staying in the same position. And just keep going here, lowering the knees to the right and then the left. Smooth movement here to lubricate the hip sockets. And feel the way your femurs are relating to your hips as you move, as you breathe, as you relax and lengthen the spine, as you relax into the floor. And now stretch your legs out, roll your thighs in, extend your legs fully, open the feet and the toes, and reach your arms overhead along the floor. Stretch through your armpits, your elbows, your hands, and your fingers. Create energy and length through the arms and through the legs. And breathe up and down your entire body, creating length. Be long and relaxed in your abdomen. Breathe into your rib cage. Roll those thighs in and stretch your legs more. Stretch your arms more. Pull your rib cage towards your arms and pull your hips towards your legs, and let your lower back receive that stretch. Breathing here. Be very active here. And then lower your arms down, bend your knees and feet flat.